what was it that got you to the next step, to really focus on healing?
One of the things, definitely my children, seeing them and having that willpower of like, I have to get stronger
Mhm,
because I have my kids, I have my husband, and I'm so thankful for his help and support and just having this support system that I did.
mhm,
Um, Most of our family, excuse me, excuse me, most of my family's in California and we're here in Las Vegas. And so it was beautiful. Our church family coming to support, just really, that was so helpful, right?
mhm,
Just knowing that you have a community of people really helping us because, having three kids and my husband and um, I couldn't do anything for them. I couldn't, I was nursing at that time. My daughter would have to be carried to me. I couldn't lift her up. I had no strength.
mhm,
Um, my body was very weak, and I was trying to really just strengthen it. And my children were such a great motivator for me, especially my kids. I homeschooled my kids up until 2020. I homeschooled all of them for their whole life, and um, I one of the things I would always do is take them to the library and for story time. And so my son, one of the things that he would pray every night was for mommy to drive them to go to the library. It was so simple. It was like the simplest request, but it
mhm,
was so big for me. And I was like, I must get stronger. I have to get stronger. I have to keep telling my mind, I know that our bodies are so strong, and that we can heal, but I have to believe that I am going to be healed, even if it's not 100%. But I just want to
mhm,
be strong enough to take them, to drive them to the library, like that was like the victory for me. So that was really it's the craziest thing when I look back and I said, that was really one of my driving force. And especially, and every night my son would pray that mommy would be better so that she can drive us to go to the library for story time. And it
right.
was such a simple request that was like so big. And that really drove me to, really be consistent when I had in-home physical therapy. So I had home health care for
Mhm,
a bit there. So that was really helpful to be
mhm,
able to have that. And so, so doing those exercises to really get myself, get stronger. And my husband was very good and taking me all the different appointments that I had so that I could constantly have my checkups and things like that. So um, I think the support system was so
mhm.
critical for me to really want to get better and want to be healed, because of course there are days that are just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm. And you hit it right on the nose. I think support system is one of the factors that can definitely help in healing, and I think it's underutilized, right? So we always talk about healing from a brain injury. We need therapy, we need this equipment, we need this, but I think going back to your environment and actually who your support system is can definitely enhance the healing process, you know. So I totally I agree with you. And so if that was your biggest help during that time, what keeps you going?
Still, obviously when I look at my kids, for them, and I have so many dreams and aspirations within me
Mm-hmm,
that I want to achieve still and accomplish, and more people that I want to serve, and so that is part of the reason why I want to continuously um, heal just in every area of my life. Because the one thing that I've also realized, even just having this like 2 weeks ago, my hands paralyzed for this hand for almost half an hour, this side it was pretty much I was walking around in a cane for the last 2 weeks. I've been just yesterday I started feeling a little bit better. So I rested and rested and rested a lot. But one of the things that I realized is that, you know, things can be going good and then things can happen again, right? There's those relapses. So just really focusing on every single day, you know, and not really worrying so much, because when I start doing that, I get overwhelmed and the anxiety happens, and that's not going to help me, you know? So it's, but at the same time, looking in the future of what it is that I want to accomplish still, that gets me also going. So it's kind of a weird oxymoron thing I just said, because I'm like, don't think ahead, but think ahead. You know what I'm saying?
It is. It's always a dance, right? It's always like you have to figure out, okay, I don't want to think about these, but I do need to think about these, right? Because it's the same things that's going to help you move forward. I don't want
Yeah.
to think about, I'm worried about this, but these same reasons for the same things are going to affect my functioning, in the future. But I definitely understand. But in terms of when you look at your whole journey, what was the biggest thing that was affected in the aspect of your life, at least during the time that you had a stroke?
I think it's when I had to depend on everyone to do things for me, you know, that I couldn't do certain things for my family because of my state at that time. That really affected me, you know, in that sense of like, I can't even stand up and cook right now for them. I can't even, you know, and that really affects you as a human being when you can't do something that you used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of you feels like, you know, not a failure in that sense, but just helpless.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of like just feeling different, what was the first thing that you thought of that helped you get out of that feeling itself?
What helped me get out of that
Get out of
helplessness?
feeling that hope, being hopeless. Yeah. I mean, it could be you or it could be someone else that helped you. What is it that the other person or you did to get you out of that feeling of hopelessness?
You know what? It was really envisioning myself healed.
Mm-hmm.
That was what helped me get out of it, because I really didn't stay in a pity party state for too long. I really try to train myself to snap out of it, because we're human beings. We're going to feel that way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when we feel down, right? And we just, but I, because of what what my son had said and just prayed, that became such a visual for me. It was such a strong visual that I could see myself get in my van, have all my kids in the car, and with all their snacks, driving them to the library and
Right.
taking them to story time. That really, that is one thing that it's so funny. There's little parts of a lot of parts that I don't remember, but that part was just, I could remember it because every day I would visualize it. I
Mm-hmm.
would visualize me taking my kids and so that made me feel like, you know what, there was that inner hope within me that I will gain this strength back, and this too shall pass. You know, really having a really strong prayer life for me was also very important. You know, having music, um, when I would feel like really down, having music and worship and in prayer and meditation, that really, really, really helped me tremendously to get out of that funk and think, you know what, there is hope. I can keep moving forward. And also joining support groups on Facebook has
Mm-hmm.
been really beautiful, because now I'm seeing their stories too, and how they've overcome it, or they're in it with me, or you know, they just had the stroke, so that was, those support groups have really been, very helpful. At the same time, you got to be very careful and not just wallow into this misery too at the same time, but yeah, so that, I think visually seeing my healing and declaring it over myself, was really, really huge for me.
And just listening to you, Carla, you've mentioned faith, having faith, mentioning music, having the right support system, going to a support group. It sounds so easy, but it's something that you have to go through. It's definitely a like this whole process of just trying to figure out what works for you, because what works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for the other person. But
Yeah.
a lot of the healing, I think, happens because you're invested in your own well-being and
Yeah.
how you could be better and how you could get out of that feeling of hopelessness, because hopelessness is so heavy. It is heavy, but by no means do I think that I'm saying that it shouldn't happen. I mean, we all go through it. We all go through the feeling of, oh, I mean, there's no more hope for that one, and let me do this other thing. And I mean, we all go through all these emotions, and I think it's one of the hardest obstacle in being able to keep going is not feeling that it's this new thing is going to make a difference. So I mean, kudos to you. That is a lot. There's a lot of studies out there, what works, what doesn't work. And we can only keep reading and trying it out. But for you to be able to say, hey, this worked for me, this worked for me, that takes a lot of strength in your spirit to be able to say, this works for me and this keeps me going. So I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's amazing. So, but I wanted to also talk about the support group that you kind of mentioned. So I know that there's several support groups on Facebook. I also know that there are support groups that are more online. I know that St. Jude's in California, they host a support group that they've actually combined different support groups across California. I think five of them, and provide it online so that more people can join. And so I'm not sure if you've found one where you could actually have, support groups that you can have like a Zoom meeting with, because I'm not sure if the support group on Facebook, if it's something more video or more just chatting like online, typing.
Yeah, so yeah, on Facebook it's like, so there's, I went through like so many of the different support groups, because after my stroke there was so many diagnoses, so many
Right.
things that I was diagnosed afterwards, right? So it was finding, especially one of the rare ones like the Tarlov cyst in my spine, right? So I was like, okay, what is this, and then another thing, they're like, oh, okay, let me, and I just wanted to know more and more, because I'm a seeker of knowledge anyhow, and I think that kind of has helped me a lot, because I'm always looking for resources and everything. I'm very resourceful in that sense, and so I know that I use that as I knew that I had that tool and skill in me, even in my sickness and my illness.
Mhm.
That in my within me, I'm like, I'm a seeker of knowledge, so, and a seeker of connection. I always like to connect with people, and so I know that I already know that about me, that I like to connect with others. So I wanted to connect with like-minded people, or people that have experienced something that I've already experienced. So I went to, I've, it's in Facebook. It's very, very like, chatting with each other, and and people do post videos and stuff like that. But I like the idea of having a Zoom support group. I think that would be awesome. I
Mhm.
like to actually do that, or even create one,
Mhm.
I can always do that and suggest that to everybody. Hey, get on this Zoom. And
Right.
I like to do that kind of stuff. So I'd be like, let's do this together. Let's come together and do it. It sounds fun. So thank you for that idea. I'm actually going to write that down right
Yeah.
now.
And
Um,
definitely, what I'm gonna do is I can email it to you and I can post it also. Because St. Jude's, they're very active in the brain injury world, and also they have that this online support group, so anyone can join in.
Wow, I really love that. And that's the one thing and through that actually, but through Facebook because of like some of the groups, I was able to connect with like a handful of people, right? So there's a few people that I end up then befriending in my personal space and my personal Facebook and really created a friendship. And some of them live one sweet girl lives in like New Jersey and so we send each other packages and all these kind of things and cards and that has been really cool. So I've actually really looked at my whole healing journey as I've actually really shifted my mindset a lot, even when I would go to the doctor's offices and stuff, that I would say, you know what, there's probably somebody that I need to talk to there. And that's why I'm here longer. Maybe I need to talk to them. Maybe they need me to pray with them. Maybe we need to connect. So I shifted, not that I didn't want to, focus on what I was dealing with and not being real and not being a realist, right? And dealing, and understanding that, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. But I didn't want to put so much focus on all the things that was so wrong with me. And I wanted to shift it by, hey, how can, maybe I can help somebody or I can connect with them and I can reach out to them. Maybe they need a friend or somebody to talk to that can understand them that's been through this, So I really placed even when I went to the hospital a couple of times from seizures or other things, I also have a hole in my heart. So all these fun stuff, anything that I would, if I had to go to the hospital or a doctor's office, whatever it was, I just shifted my mindset every single time to a positive outlook. And it has been, so beautiful. Even I just remember this one time that I was in the hospital for, I was there, I had a really terrible seizure and I was there and this gentleman, he was cleaning the hospital and he was just singing and, and we ended up just singing together and, then we got to pray together and it was just so beautiful. All the different nurses and so I just really started shifting my brain every single time. Okay, you know what? This sucks that I'm here, but maybe I'm here for a reason. I need to connect with somebody here.
Yeah. Well, I know that right now are you working full time?
No, I am not. And that's another thing that, I can't work somewhere full time. I can't sit there all day full time. And especially, I think that's just in my blood. Anyhow, I've always been like, more, I can't just sit in a desk and just
Yeah.
be there from 9 to 5. But no, but I do teach at the academy twice a week. I'm taking a little bit of break right now just to heal again because with everything I've just been through. And then I am the children's ministry director at my church. So I do, teach and everything, teach the kids. We do have a good team. So thank God for that because it does become overwhelming, right? When you're leading a team and you're when you're dealing with stuff, especially with your brain and all that stuff that, attaches to it and all the different things that I'm dealing with, it does become overwhelming. So thank God for teamwork in that sense and having people that support, again, that word support, having that support of people willing to step up and to the plate and do, X, Y, and Z to keep the team going. And then I'm building my business and stuff like that. And that is something that I love to do. And building a team and helping others, but also always realizing that I need to spend the time to take care of me and not burn myself out and go because I can just keep going. You know what I mean? I can just keep going. And then, okay, next thing you know, I'm on, you know what I mean? I'm not feeling well. So
Right.
really finding that this year I'm actually, got on the Tony Robbins Ultimate Breakthrough. I just started yesterday. and it's been really awesome. So it's helping me to really, break through and realize, what I need to do to make sure that in order for me to be um, effective in all the things that I want to do, especially as a mom, as a wife, and as a business owner, team, whatever, builder, whatever it is, I need to take care of me, because if I'm gone, then I can't do any of this stuff. So
Right.
I need to take care of my health